Hey everybody, welcome back. I just wanted to put you guys that may be considering a vasectomy in the near future, and just wanted to make a video about my recovery to put you guys at ease. If you're thinking about doing that, it's really not that bad. I had a vasectomy almost a year and a half ago, and I had the surgery. And at first, it seemed pretty easy. I was in a little bit of pain later, but immediately after the surgery, the pain medications, the anesthesia still hadn't worn off yet. So I was walking around just fine, like, oh, this is easy, this is easy. But the doctor told me, he said, oh, get those frozen peas ready because you'll need them for later on. And sure enough, he was right. I was immediately swelled up pretty bad. I was feeling something. It just feels kind of like a little bit of, if you've ever gotten a kick in the balls or knock in the balls, I'm sure. Just feels kind of sore in that way, kind of like your balls are up in your stomach, and that's a sign that you need to start icing. And the doctor, and I followed the doctor's orders. He instructed me to use the frozen peas on my private area, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, which I did during the day. I think I laid around. I had the surgery on a Friday. I had that day off from work, obviously. I had the weekend, and I also took a Monday and a Tuesday off. Normally, the recovery, I think it took me maybe 2 weeks to fully recover from it. But after 4 or 5 days, the pain was pretty much gone. So I did the icing for a few days and didn't really have to do that anymore. The hardest part about it for me was the stitches, the dissolvable stitches, because I actually went back for a follow-up to try to get the stitches out because they were irritating me so much. I've had stitches in other parts of my body before, and they're just, oh, they're so irritating. It just kind of freaks me out having them inside me. No, it doesn't float my boat, so to speak. And I tried to get the stitches out, but I found somebody had told me that I had to get them removed. But then I went to see a urologist a couple weeks later. He says, oh, no, they're dissolvable. They'll dissolve on their own. He said, if I were to take them out, you'd be completely open right now, and you definitely don't want that. But when I did go back to work, I was still in a little bit of pain, mainly because of the stitches. When I'm a custodian at elementary school, and I vacuumed like 16 classrooms, and the hardest part was the vacuuming because I have to pull an adapter, the extension cord for the vacuum. I had to plug that in and pull it out for each classroom I vacuum, and it was hurting me to bend over because my balls were rubbing up against the inside of my thigh. So I'm like pulling the extension cord in and out, putting it in, pulling it out, like spreading my legs as wide as I can so I'm not hurting. And it was sitting up. And, sitting down and standing up was pretty painful because it's sitting especially getting in and out of my car, it's like my ball sack was like sliding up against the seat, and that was irritating the stitches. That was pretty painful there. And but I did play in a pickup basketball game like a week after, and it wasn't because I was still in a little bit of pain. Wasn't really playing my best basketball, but yeah, out of the pain, as far as the swelling, excluding the stitches, which are pretty irritating, pretty painful, especially when I'm sleeping too. I'm a side sleeper, and that was irritating me, so I spent a lot of time sleeping on my back, so that way I didn't have that irritation. It was kind of hard. But as far as the swelling, yeah, the pain level, like one being the least, 10 being the most, I was at like a 5 or a 6 for the swelling, and once I had the swelling, that was just a sign that I needed to ice myself down again. Kind of a funny story, the frozen peas that I used to ice myself down. I had my vasectomy done, like, I think it was December 2nd or December 3rd of 2021, and those are the same peas I served for Christmas dinner, the peas that were on my balls. I told a friend of mine about that. He's like, oh, I won't tell your family, won't tell your company. And yeah, he heard some funny recovery stories from his friends. I don't know if my cousin ever did it, but my cousin was like, oh, when I get my vasectomy done, I'm going to have it done during March Madness. I could just sit around and watch a bunch of hoops. His wife is like, oh, you're not doing that. No way. Screw that. And one of my friends was saying that one of his friends had it done around March Madness, and I guess he just, the same thing. He picked out his favorite recliner, and I guess he just sat around with frozen peas on his balls and watching a bunch of hoops, and his wife just brought him beers. And he's like, that's the life. So, yeah, it's pretty easy recovery. It's a minor surgery, not really that invasive. There's not really any minimal risk factors, and the things that can happen aren't really that big of a deal. But Yeah, one of my, I do know one guy had a vasectomy, and I think he's okay now. But yeah, he said that he never experienced any of that. But he said he did experience like painful erections, painful ejaculation. I know there was one guy on YouTube, I was kind of scared, but one guy on YouTube said that he had like erectile dysfunction, unless it was some other cause. But I guess he had to pay like $7,000 or $8,000 to have a reversal. I don't know if that fixed the problem, but he said that he never had any ED issues until he had a vasectomy done, and he started having ED issues, so he had it reversed. But yeah, my friend, I guess he said he was going at it with his wife, and I guess he had a painful erection, and his ejaculations are painful, and he was like, "Oh, can I finish? Can I finish, please?" And his wife, like, I guess she wanted more, but she's like, "Okay, go ahead. If you're in pain, just go ahead." So glad yeah, most guys, from what I've heard, haven't had any complications. Glad I don't have any complications from it. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Go ahead, get your vasectomy. You got nothing to worry about, and real easy recovery, and pretty easy procedure. Not that big of a deal, not that much pain. If I can do it, I'm a pretty big baby when it comes to pain, so if I can do it, anybody can do it. So that's all I have to say about that. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all real soon with another video. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk to you all soon. Bye.